Over this decade, my research career as a psychometrician and in education psychology went into the background as visible learning took over. I have become a grandfather, 5 granddaughters, 1 grandson. After 25 years together, I was married to Janet by Elvis Presley. Thanks, Peter DeWitt. Moved from New Zealand to Australia, following Janet, who was headhunted as a professor of evaluation, saw my boys become men. I retired and am enjoying policy roles in government agencies. Visible learning truly changed my ways of thinking and writing. Since VL1, I have published 75-plus articles and 40-plus books, and presented at 400-plus conferences or events worldwide relating to VL1. Appendix B, found in the print and ebook versions of this book, lists the chapters in the Visible Learning Guide to Student Achievement, Schools, and these chapters provide more depth about many of the influences throughout this sequel. A mistake of many critics is to overly focus on the one book in 2009, as I have expanded, clarified, and explored many of the ideas in VL1 in these other sources. Improvements to the VL1 model also are a function of working with exceptional implementers, who took the model and turned it into school and classroom practice. The VL Plus model has been implemented by this team in over 10,000 schools worldwide. Further, many systems, school leaders, and teachers have informed us about enhancing this process. This allowed greater refinement of the VL1 model, more teasing out of the priorities, a closer consideration of implementation models, and scaling up success, and a more detailed collection of evidence of the impact of the model. I also took on a more policy role when the Australian Federal Minister invited me to chair the board of the Australian Institute of Schools and Leaders, aitsl.edu.au, and this has meant meeting all state and territory ministers and their director generals regularly. Now up to my 61st in the 9 years as chair. We change our leaders a lot. The pressure was to write a second edition of Visible Learning, but I resisted. I knew that even my closest colleagues would not be happy when the effect of an influence changed even a little, that any changes would see a new ranking list inconsistent with previous versions, and when the focus would go back to the individual influences. The world of researchers has also moved forward, as there are many more meta-analyses and now other meta-analyses of meta-analyses, and the debates about the interpretation of effect sizes have become more sophisticated. I have learned a lot from my critics. You can spend your career as an academic, and not many may notice, so it is an honor to have such world-famous critics. Instead, this is a sequel with more attention to the big underlying story. This story covers much more than in VL1, particularly as an additional 1,300 meta-analyses have been added. The production of meta-analyses did not stop in 2009.